Today I'm going to show you how I painted this sweet lamb and pink daisies in watercolors just in time for Easter, so let's get started. I used a photo from Pixabay and will follow it loosely during the process. I traced my initial sketch onto the watercolor paper and I used masking fluid to block the petals of the daisies and some grasses. Once the masking was completely dry, I used my brush to wet the lamb's body. I'm using Arch's 300-pound cold-pressed paper, and I used washi tape to create a border. The paints are the Winsor Newton Cotman Sketchers Pocket Box. I will have a list of all the supplies I used in the video description. I will let the water soak into the paper for a minute while I mix my colors. I mix a darker brown and a lighter brown using ultramarine, umber, burnt sienna, and yellow ochre in various proportions. I want to create a soft, woolly texture, so I'm just dotting my loaded brush onto the shadowy areas. I stay away from the top of the back to preserve the white highlight area. The paper is still wet, and I use the dark brown in the darkest shadow areas, like the belly, behind the tail, the chest, and the legs. I mixed phthalo blue and permanent rose to that dark brown color to make a neutral violet color, and I added it here and there for interest in the darker areas. I'm still doing the stippling technique to suggest the wool texture. Now I'm just using a brush with a small amount of water on it and dotting that on the paper. This makes the pigment disperse and just enhances that texture a bit. Now I start on the head and I'm using that light brown again, making sure to stay away from the lightest areas. I also deepen the shadow beneath the daisy wreath, and this will make the flowers pop out more in the finished painting. I'm also adding more warmth with some burnt sienna, and the paper is still nice and wet. I got too much yellowy pigment on the top of the back, so I'm wiping some away while the paper is wet, then blot it dry. This will restore some of the white area. I'm using a tissue to blot some of the other areas that got a bit dark, like along the legs and the flank. I wet the insides of the ears and added a bit more rose to the brown mix, and then I just dropped it in and let it spread softly. I'm starting the grass now. I wet all along the bottom of the lamb, and I mixed up both a yellow neutral green and a brighter green color to add variety, and I also use a cool darker green for some soft blades of grass in the front. Unfortunately, my camera stopped working when I did the sky, but I decided to paint another glaze over it anyway, so I can show you how I did that here. I also decided to paint the grass to the border instead of this little vignette area. I wet the paper on both sides here, and I'm just doing the same thing as before with the various green shades. The blue for the sky is a mixture of phthalo blue and a small amount of yellow ochre to slightly neutralize the bold blue color. I'm adding this on wet paper. I'm just adding the color here and there somewhat haphazardly, letting it blend out softly. This creates an abstract sky with some subtle cloudy shapes. I'm re-wetting small areas of the lamb where I want to deepen the shadow color and add more contrast, like on the tail and the belly. I'm mixing a strong dark to paint the eyes and nose area, using ultramarine and burnt sienna. I made sure the paper was dry first so I can create hard edges. Now I'm mixing up a light brown again to begin detailing the colors on the ears. I wanted to add some more warmth and texture to the mid-tone color, so I re-wet the body of the lamb, and now I'm just adding it to that wet area. I'm also going to enhance some of those dark areas as well. Once the paper was completely dry, I removed all the masking fluid on the daisies and the blades of grass. I'm using my pickup here just to gently rub it away and then use my hands to brush it off the paper. I used a stiff angle brush to soften the hard edges on the bottoms of the blades of grass. I just dampened the brush and lightly scrubbed up and down to remove the paint. Then I mixed a light spring green using sap green and a lemony yellow color and filled in the grass blades. To mix the pink, I used some permanent rose, a touch of yellow, and some white gouache. Then I just painted these on the exposed petal areas. For the centers of the daisies, I darkened that pink with some brown and I just dabbed it in, letting it softly spread on the damp paper. For the little surprise Easter egg, I mixed up a light lavender color and just painted it behind the blade of grass. Now I'm painting the leaves around the daisy garland on his neck. Here I'm adding a darker purple shadow to the bottom of the egg. And I'm using a little gouache to add a sparkle in the lamb's eyes and soften the edge on the nose and the mouth. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more weekly painting tips. Click on one of these videos to watch another watercolor painting tutorial as well. Happy painting, and I'll see you next time. Bye!